Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say this is a very difficult video to make, but I wanted to share a few stories with you. So back in the 70s, when I lived in London, I worked in publishing and I was hanging out with the intellectual Jewish left in the publishing world there, and I loved it. It was fantastic. And when I moved back to Australia, in the early 80s, I moved to the eastern suburbs of Sydney, which is a Jewish heartland, a very mixed community generally with people of all ethnicities. But within the Jewish community, it was very diverse. So there were many Polish and Romanian Jews and later Czechoslovakian Jews after the Second World War, followed by Russian Jews who arrived there. And within the community, there was a large secular Jewish population. There were observant Jews, Reform, Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, and everyone mixed together. Our kids played together. They grew up together. But what started to happen probably about 20 years ago when Netanyahu formed the alliance with the ultra-Orthodox, the tone changed within that community. At that stage, there were still Holocaust survivors who were still living in my community, and sadly now they, of course, have passed. But the tone changed in the sense that suddenly there could be, not suddenly, it crept up. There could be no criticism of the Israeli state. So if you were not Jewish, you didn't have a right to an opinion or to speak. And if you were Jewish, you were condemned as a self-hating Jew, which effectively closed the conversation down on the behavior of the modern Israeli state. Right now, so since the 70s, I've consumed Israeli news and news from the diaspora every day. So I haven't come to this issue overnight, is what I'm trying to say. Now, last year, I was in Buenos Aires on October 7th. I was staying with a Jewish friend, and I was there when the atrocities happened wrought by Hamas, and the fear and the outrage and the horror of the kidnappings of the hostages, not knowing what had happened to them, totally horrified is the only word, which was shared at the time by most of the world. And virtually every Western government, as we know, said Israel has every right to defend itself. So that started, but as the weeks became months and the death toll rose, different communities became more conflicted, and particularly the children. And as the hospitals were bombed, knowing those children could get no medical care, it became the Jewish voices, not in our name, etc., started to emerge at that time. Now, defense is one thing, but the problem, the strategic problem Israel has is you cannot kill Hamas. By definition, Hamas is a guerrilla movement. So it's not like a regular army where you can count the uniformed bodies. It cannot be done. So I'm not alone in this. The leaders of Shin Bet, which is the domestic arm of Mossad, have spoken out. They very rarely speak. They have spoken out. Strategically, this will not make Israel safe. This is I think, the core of the current issue. And so many people I know within various Jewish contexts have said, by continuing this bombing throughout the whole length of Gaza, having told people to go to the south to be safe, this is becoming a collective punishment. We have now seen the mass graves of people with their hands tied and stripped of their clothes. Now, 1.7 million Palestinians have been told to leave Rafah. This is people with nowhere to go, with no money, no transport, and no food. This is not defense. This, as the world shifts, it's important we keep the dialogue open, because at this point, as I see it, by pushing people from Rafah into the unknown, you are rendering the Palestinian people stateless. So Palestine, that has shrunk and shrunk and shrunk, effectively has been reduced to nothing. There is so little space left on the West Bank. So to make people stateless in this time, I can't see any way to support this. I may lose Jewish viewers over this video. I hope not. I hope we can have a dialogue. So I welcome your responses, all of you, and please keep them respectful. But what I would like to say is one thing. Please don't accuse me of being anti-Semitic, because you'd be wrong. So we have a responsibility as world citizens for all children. And I will leave it there. Thank you for watching.